sir.
Oh, so today I've got Alsabit with me. So he is going to soon appear for the interview again. He is trying his luck second time. So let us find out how much he is prepared apart from his luck. So Alsabit, I am if not wrong again. Alsabit, is it correct?
Yes, also, yes, sir, it's correct.
Alsabit. Okay, so tell me about yourself.
Sir, I am actually a BTech mechanical student. I am going to pass out in 2021. I got 8.315 CGPA until my sixth semester, and I have done along with my BTech. I have done NEBOSH, which is safety engineering, which I am going to write the exam on June 8, and I have done my preparation for NEBOSH, and I have done the project on. I have done my main project on uh, fully automatic greenhouse, and I have done a minor project also. The minor project is I have conducted an safety assessment on my workshop in Kerala state government road transport report safety assessment, sir.
Can you tell me about more about your major project?
So my major project was on um, my major project was that it was like a fully automatic greenhouse, fully automatic greenhouse, and it's an automatic greenhouse where everything happens automatic. Like we use the programming called like Arduino, and it's on actually on the final stage because I am like studying on my S8 semester, and I have done my all the designing we have done all the designing process, and we are on the final stage of implementing. And it's actually an interdisciplinary project where four of from our mechanical and two of from the electronics department are simultaneously doing the project. And the project mainly include of everything comes automatic. Like the main mechanical concept which we are applying there is like that there is a thermostatic expansion. There is a thermostat automatic temperature control where we use Arduino programming.
So, so you know about the Arduino programming, or
Yes,
your electrical friend were involved in Arduino
electronics department.
electronics. So apart from that, why do you want to join the Merchant Navy?
Sir, the main one of the reason where that sir merchant navy suppose imagine myself to be a chief engineer of some if I join to merchant navy one some sooner or later I have a chance to become a chief engineer. And I always love to get like what to the reputation and everything that a chief engineer always enjoys, because and the responsibility which he is behold of himself, that he has so much of responsibility to himself, that sir that I love to take my responsibility by myself. And actually I have seen many of the research, and I found that chief engineer is responsible for everything. And it's my dream to become a chief engineer. And I like to take the responsibilities and all the things which he is doing. And I always love that job. That's why I want to become. I choose nursing.
As you talk about the responsibilities and pride and reputations, so don't you believe it will be more feasible if you join the Indian Army, Navy, or Air Force?
Yes, sir. Actually, from talking of reputation form, that means it's more feasible to join in Navy and Indian Army. But uh, apart from that, joining merchant navy, I am coming from a middle class family, sir. I would like to. I cannot afford to travel everywhere, and I always like to travel all around the world. But to join this field, I think that dream will also come true, sir. I could travel all around the world, and just by joining this job I love, and that's one of the reason to for me. That's also one of the reason to for me to take this field.
Okay, not a problem. So can you tell me why do we select you over the others? What is different in you?
Sir, I always try to cover from my mistakes, sir. from the last interview, I usually I talk about everything that I have made a mistake. That there was a I always talked about that huge payment grid and I about that issues, and I speak about with emphasized on more of that payment and other salary issues, and I was unaware about my basic questions. But I actually prepared most of. I learned more about how the merchant navy actually is working, and if we write after passing what are we are getting, we should pass the MEO exam, then we after 18 months of like ship, then we should go to third engineer, then we should write another level 2 exam, then we can only become chief engineer. I usually learn from my mistakes, and I build myself that I usually take up responsibilities, that I love to take my responsibility. Whenever I face a issue, I turn on myself to face more and more responsibility, that I forgot about my other issues, and I usually overcome these situations by facing more and more pressure. I love to take absorb all the pressure. So that's why I by absorbing pressure, I forget everything which is happening around me.
So let us move to the technical part.
Sure.
Can you tell me what is compressor?
Sir, compressor is a device which used to compress the air to the air smaller pressure to higher pressure.
Can you name the safeties involved in compressor?
Sir, in compressor there is a fusible plug, there is a relief valve, there is a bursting disc, water high pressure cutoff, water temperature cutoff, then high water temperature cutoff, then high there is high temperature cutout in the discharge as well.
What is bursting disk?
Bursting disk is actually a copper disk which is mounted on the intercooler and aftercooler on the water side. When air is actually leaked in the leak, when air leak, the pressure actually increases in the water side, and this bursting disk will burst out and relieve the pressure will be relieved.
What is intercooler?
Intercooler is actually a device which is used to cool when pressure is when usually we use multi-staging, that when pressure is actually increased by stages. That for example, if we want to increase by 10 bars, we increase by initially from 1 bar to 5 bar, then we increase to 7 bar, then to 10 bar. By in between the 7 bar increasing from 1 to 5 bar, we use then after we use an intercooler to cool the temperature, because as pressure is increased, automatically temperature is also increased. So to reduce that temperature, we use an intercooler in between the compressors, various compressors.
Can you tell me about what is marine exhaust gas turbocharger?
Marine gas exoturbo is actually used to save the power of the save actually to save the fuel, because the exhaust energy of the exhaust gas has very good temperature and which could be utilized for various other purposes. And this exhaust gas is actually used to drive a turbine which is coupled to a compressor, and this compressor take air and compresses and provides fresh good discharge to the engine. This is known as marine exhaust gas turbocharger.
What are the components of marine exhaust gas turbocharger?
Marine exhaust gas turbocharger have a turbine, then as a compressor, then it is passed by intercooler, then it is going to the engine.
Can you explain me the working?
The compressor is actually driven by the turbine. The turbine gets energy from the exhaust gas. Exhaust gas have good high temperature, and this energy from the exhaust gas is used to drive the turbine, and turbine drives the compressor, and the compressor with high temperature and high pressure high pressure air is cooled by the intercooler, and then it is given to the engine supply.
How the turbine and compressor are connected to each other?
Sir, I think it's coupled each other with a by a shaft.
Coupled with each other via shaft is correct, but they are on the same shaft or they are on the both on the different shaft. by the belt or gear driven then?
Think they are coupled with belt drive or something like.
No, that's wrong. They both are mounted on the same shaft.
Okay.
Not a problem. Then we move further. Can you name the parts of IC engine?
IC engine have piston cylinder, piston, gudgeon pin, then connecting rod, crankcase, piston rings, cylinder liners, then camshaft, then exhaust valve mechanism, exhaust saying, sir, I should tell the parts of exhaust.
No, no.
Okay, these are all the parts of it. Then spark plug or fuel injectors.
What is the function of flywheel?
Flywheel actually when we are actually we have four in for example in two-stroke diesel engine or any engine diesel or petrol engine there is in two-stroke there is out of two-stroke there is only one working stroke that is power is delivered in only one stroke. So in during that stroke the energy is absorbed energy is actually stored in the flywheel and it supplies constant energy throughout the system throughout the next stroke. We have five flywheels. Flywheel gives what's our
Next question is material of piston.
piston use cast iron. I think so. Cast iron. Cast iron.
Think sure or you are sure?
Sir, in majority it is use cast iron, but I have heard in F1 engines their high strength steel is actually been used. Alloy steel is actually used in many of the F1 cars for high performance.
What is the material that used on board for the piston?
For sir, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sir, yes, sir.
What is the piston material, the piston which we are using on board ship?
Sir, cast iron. Hello.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, what is boiler?
So boiler is a device which is used to provide steam. So steam is steam
Okay.
to convert water to steam. So.
Okay. As you after the mock interview, just see what is the material of piston. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. So name the mountings of the boiler.
There on the boilers there are two safety valves, two water level indicator, fusible plug, relief valve, feed water check valve, then blow off cork, then there is sir, pressure gauge. Pressure gauge.
What is the function of fusible plug?
Fusible plug is actually there is two metals actually inside the fusible plug. And inside the there is low melting point. There is a metal inside which is has low melting point, and outside metal is having high melting point. And the fusible plug actually has function that whenever the water level in the drum actually decreases, the and temperature of the fusible plug is and melt, and all the water from the drum actually goes to the furnace, and the boiling process actually stops. This is a safety mechanism for boilers.
What is economizer?
Economizer is actually used. It's actually used to save the fuel economy of the engine. That it's used from the gas which is coming out of the exhaust gas. Turbocharger has very high energy, for around 200 degrees, and this temperature is used to heat up the feed water. And this feed water is actually to supply to the boiler, so that we could save the amount of energy. This so that we need not need to burn the furnace for the entire onboard journey.
Nice
So the
answer.
water. Yes.
Explain me the component of refrigeration cycle.
What's the refrigeration? We see refrigeration.
Refrigeration
Uh,
cycle.
so refrigeration has a compressor followed by a condenser followed by an expansion valve, then that's, no, no, expansion valve followed by evaporator. Then this process goes on cyclic.
Explain me the working.
From the compressor, the low pressure air is compressed to high pressure air, and this high temperature air, and this high temperature, high pressure air is condensed in the condenser, and the temperature is reduced to, and vapor phase is changed to liquid. High temperature, low temperature, high pressure liquid is now passed to the expansion valve, where it is expanded. High pressure is expanded to low pressure depending upon the amount of freezing required, and it's passed to the evaporator, where cooling occurs. And after the cooling, there low pressure air is passed go to the compressors.
What refrigerant we are using in VCRS cycle?
VCRS we can use refrigerant, right, sir? Refrigerant. We can use earlier we have used R11, R22. Like then we have moved to R134A. Then we are in currently we can use R4110A, R407C. We can use many type of refrigerants. Even ammonia can be also used R717, which is also available.
Don't you think ammonia is poisonous? Toxicity?
Yes, sir. Ammonia is actually poisonous. So that's why the main reason which is not using in the domestic purposes currently, sir. We are domestically
And
we are
what are the refrigerant that we are using on board ship?
R134A, sir. R134A.
Apart
Then
from 134A,
we can use R22 as well, sir. R22 is also
R20.
being used.
It is banned nowadays, by the way.
Yes.
And you mentioned the air in the refrigeration cycle. Is it correct?
No, sir. No, it's a refrigerant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is a refrigerant. Not a problem. Go through it once you are free
Yes.
after the mock interview. Okay. Can you tell me the Archimedes principle?
Archimedes principle says that whenever a body is partially or fully immersed in a water, there is a upward force which is equal to the weight of the body. Upward force is known as buoyant force.
The upward force is equal to the weight of body or the displaced by it?
Upward force is equal to the weight of the body, sir.
What is tappet clearance?
Tappet clearance is actually the clearance which is from by the poppet valve stem and the rocker arms. There is a small clearance for the clearance between rocker arm and the poppet valve stem. That is known as tappet clearance.
On the top of the poppet valve or the bottom of the poppet valve?
Uh, Top of the poppet valve, sir.
Are you sure?
Poppet valve, that stem, poppet valve stem. I not top. I did not get it, sir. It's on the stem side of the poppet valve.
Yeah, that's correct, from the stem of the side of the poppet valve. But it is the top of the stem valve or it is the bottom of the stem valve?
Top of the stem part.
Okay, tell me what is the working of valve mechanism?
Valve mechanism. Valve mechanism. Actually, there is valve mechanism controlled by the camshaft. Camshaft actually being rotate. Camshaft gets its rotation from the crankshaft to do belt drive or gear drive. And the rotation, the camshaft have various lobes, and these lobes are actually egg-shaped lobes, and these lobes, the rotation of these lobes are connected with the tappet. Tappet is actually a lifting mechanism, and this lifting mechanism is connected to the rocker arms. No, push rod. Push rods is connected with the rocker arms, and the rocker arms has a fulcrum mechanism, like it converts the linear motion into radial motion, and this program provides the motion, the valve up and down movement of the valve.
Okay. Can you explain me the Bernoulli principle? What is the Bernoulli principle?
Bernoulli equation is actually conservation of energy. It also means conservation of energy. That pressure head plus kinetic head plus head, the height head divide is, it's actually a constant one. When that's whenever the pressure head actually increases, or pressure head increases, the kinetic energy decrease, or if kinetic energy decreases, automatically pressure head will also decrease. It's a conservation of energy theorem, sir.
Can you tell me the Kelvin-Planck statement of thermodynamics?
Kelvin Planck. Um, Kelvin Planck statement is actually the second law of thermodynamics. There are two parts, and it's the first part of the thermodynamics, that where there no engine can work when transferring from heat to one higher to lower without a third, where it's not possible. I think that studied in it, but it's not possible without, say, sink to transfer from higher temperature to lower temperature without any other heat dissipation. That's what I think. I am not sure, sir.
Not a problem. Can you tell me the properties of refrigerant?
Refrigerant should has a low boiling point and low freezing point. It should have a high latent heat of vaporization, and um, the temperature should, there is other secondary properties, should be not inflammable. It should be, it should also have high critical temperature. It should have high critical pressure. Then it should have high latent heat of vaporization. Then low boiling point, low freezing point. It should be non-inflammable. It should be non-toxic, and it should be easily available. It should have high low specific heat of temperature, low specific heat.
Classification of pumps.
Pumps are actually classified into two types, two major types: rotodynamic pumps and positive displacement pump. Positive displacement pumps have reciprocating pumps as well as rotary pumps. In reciprocating pumps, there are plunger type pumps, piston, diaphragm, and for rotary pumps, there are gear pumps, screw pumps. Compared to the left side, which is centrifugal rotodynamic pumps. Rotodynamic pumps have centrifugal pumps. Centrifugal has various, like low speed, medium, then high discharge, low discharge, high medium discharge, and high discharge. Where high discharge have basically volute casing and other vortex casing centrifugal pumps. Medium discharge have mixed flow axial turbines, and other have axial flow pumps.
Working of gear pump.
Yeah, sir. Gear pumps work on the. It's a positive displacement type pump, and it's have inlet valve, and they have an outlet valve where the water is we can only use viscous fluid in the gear pump, and the inlet, there is a suction is created. There is and moves to the, there is a gear mechanism, that one is a drive on gear and other is a follower, and these both gears are meshed together, and the inlet oil is going to the outer periphery, and periphery which has a low clearance or no clearance, and this oil goes to the outlet. Due to the, hello?
Can we use water in the gear pump?
No, sir, we cannot use, because if we use water, it will go to reverse flow of the water can occur in the gear pump.
What is the part of centrifugal pump?
Parts, the centrifugal pumps has impellers. The main part is impeller, then eye of the impeller, then it's a shaft, then shaft seal, then we have suction pipe, delivery pipe, we have a casing, then yes, that's all. Then we have food valve and strainer as well, sir.
Can you tell me the working of reciprocating pump?
Reciprocating pump actually is a positive type displacement pump where the piston cylinder arrangement gives the discharge, and when the piston moves backward and forwards, the water is actually pumped in the pulsating method. The discharge is on. Discharge depends on pressure, and the amount of discharge decreases as we increase the clearance between the piston and the cylinder linings, and it's that's all I know.
In which direction the impeller rotates of the centrifugal pump?
The centrifugal pump should rotate in the direction of the increase in area of the casing, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me about me?
Sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
What? Yes, sir.
And can you tell me about the entity?
NDT. Sir, NDT is full form is non-destructive testing. Then it has visual inspection, then dye penetrant testing, magnetic particle testing, ultrasonics, acoustics, eddy current testing. All these are the methodologies which we use in NDT.
What is ultrasonic testing?
We use ultrasonic waves to test the ultrasonics is actually used to test the more internal, not subsurface cracks. It's used to check the internal cracks of various materials like metals, non metals, and concrete, and we can use to find the internal cracks as well. Where we use transducer, then we have transducer, then emitter, and then receivers. It's housed in the transducer, and the emitter emits the ultrasonic waves, and it's received by the transducer, which is by the receiver, and it's compared with the reference to know whether there is any change in the signal, and we could easily find out the cracks inside the cement tested materials.
What is Lenz law?
Lenz law actually gives that whenever there is a magnetic flux, uh, whenever there is a magnetic flux changes with the conductor, there is a back EMF produced inside the conductor. This back EMF is actually in the opposite direction with the initial magnetic field produced. This opposite is known as Lenz law, sir.
Working of three-phase induction motor.
Three-phase induction motor basically works on the principle of induction, where it has a stator and a rotor, and rotor may be a squirrel cage or slip rings. It's have a slotted periphery, and it's actually short circuited with short circuited slotted periphery, and the when the stator have three-phase windings. Three-phase winding has 120 degrees apart. The windings are kept, and whenever these buildings are given AC supply, they produces a rotating magnetic field, and this rotating magnetic field rotates the and also there is also due to this magnetic field, this rotor also provides a magnetic field, and the relative motion between the rotor magnetic field and the stator magnetic field produces a rotation in the stator rotor.
So, LS Bith, what I want to tell you is you have a good electrical knowledge. You are not
Yes.
lacking in the electrical part or the NDT part or the pump part. Where you are most lacking
Yes.
is the refrigerant VCRS cycle. So you made a
Yes.
one mistake of the air. The interviewer only needs a 1 point to get out of you from the race. So I hope you understand my point to more focus on the refrigerant part.
Sir, I usually for compressor, I usually
Yeah,
forgot and said that air. That's why I forgot about the refrigerant, sir.
yeah. On the VCR cycle, why would we use the air?
Oh, yes, sir. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And the next thing is look at the basics more. like the Archimedes principle. And
Yes.
don't be little bit so elaborative on some topics. Don't be elaborative. The interviewer asking a simple point, just make your simple answer as simple as possible. Don't make such a
Yes.
elaborate question, answer so that he can cross question you in the some things.
Yes.
You may get stuck.
Yes, sir.
Apart from that, your compressor knowledge was very good.
Yes.
Thermodynamics, focus on the thermodynamics.
Sir,
Calvin Flight cycle until
sir,
conclusion.
compressor. I That's knowledge is because that in the last interview I failed because compressor I doesn't know about bursting discharge. So I just checked about it everything much detail, man. That's why I know about it.
Or maybe you can fail this interview due to the your you are not concentrating properly on the question. Just focus on the question what he is asking. Just
Yes,
like
sir.
GCRS cycle. Maybe you don't know. You can again get a failure on the this question because you have prepared the compressor well, but not the VCRS cycle. Maybe you have prepared the VCRS cycle well, but you do not deliver it. So mean timing is that matter is that 15 to 20 minutes. How you perform in that 15 to 20 minutes. That all wind ups your the knowledge and your hard work for the 30 days, 40 days, 60 days.
Yes, sir.
So don't be silly in that 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep your calm and answer slowly as possible. There is no hurry to finish your answer. The interviewer also is not in hurry to get you out of the race. So be relaxed, be calm. What I want to tell is, and be more focused towards the basics. You are having a fantastic electrical and compressor knowledge. What I would.
Thanks.
So we will wind up this part and hope you will clear your interview and you will get your dream company soon. And you have a very much high potential to get into this company. So I wish you all the best for your future.
Thank you, sir.
And it was one of my best mock interview till now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.